It's the place you go when you finish your show. We're your two best friends. Our names are Max and Ben. We're self-proclaimed television experts. It's Reality Alert. And now, introducing the winners of Temptation Island Season 4, Luke and Iris.
Hey!
The
jury voted. They won. What are you guys doing with your $1 million prize?
We're going to Disneyland.
There you go. All right.
Wow.
We're very excited to have Luke and Iris on. Our super fans, our number one fans, other than Ray Rock, I would say, from the show. Yeah. So
We love Ray Rock.
we appreciate you guys listening to our pods this season. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
first podcast you guys came out with when you were calling me the skater punk, and I remember that. But, man, you guys had the most accurate coverage of this season out of any podcast.
So you are a punk.
I
That's
am
what you're saying. Okay.
And it
That's
was
like
so
totally
accurate.
my
And I
type
was just,
too. Just saying.
but yeah, no, you guys did an awesome job. Put out a lot of
Thank
great
you.
content, great coverage. Iris and I
Yeah.
loved it. And yeah, thank you guys.
And Max, I feel like you predicted since episode 1 that we would leave together.
Well, I mean, you said it.
Luke is the one.
I mean, the writing was on the wall, but thank you, Iris.
Luke is the one. You kept playing that in Ben's face when you first played that. He was like, he was talking. I remember that. Oh, that was
Yeah,
funny. That was awesome.
We love
Yeah,
our
it was a crazy season. Iris and I are not used to being on TV. Like we're not actors, so that was 100% real. There was a lot of Twitter comments like, "Are you guys even a real couple?" You know, crazy.
Definitely real. If you look at our past photos on Instagram, we have 5 years worth of photos.
And you've never done Shakespeare before, Luke? Never?
No.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, you did remember at the singles reveal, all I was saying the whole time was check the gram, dog. Check the gram. 5 years deep. That's what I had to say. And, you know, it was real. It's all real.
Well, let's talk about why you went on Temptation Island to begin with. What did you guys think it was going to do for your relationship?
So Luke and I kind of had this repetitive problem of him reaching out to girls he had history with for emotional support. He was never sexting them. I just want to make that clear. I feel like people always ask me that. They're like, how could you put up with someone sexting other girls? No, he was not sexting them. But it made me uncomfortable because he would like spill personal, intimate details about our relationship with people that he's been physical with or had an emotional history with. And I just felt like that wasn't right. It was behind my back. I just wanted like the honesty up front. And I truly felt like nothing was working to help this. So I saw that we got a DM from Temptation Island. And I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I think Iris and all the other women in the house who were there as a couple brought their men there. So all the women brought their men there. I don't know all the reasons everyone else brought their man there, but that's kind of what it was for me. And I was ready to do some deep emotional growing myself. And that one part where I said, hey, I had some male role models in the house there, that was all because they showed me how to be more emotional. I'm not hanging around guys, or like I mentioned, my dad, I mean, our last name, Wechselberger, is like move mountains. It's all about, my dad's a strong guy and all that stuff. And he didn't display that, male emotional openness. And that's kind of how I didn't have that. So I learned from some of the other guys in there that we got Shakespeare, we got poets, we got, everything I needed in the toolkit. So.
And then there's just Lasalles.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, no, but like, we were 5
He
years
cried over 15 times. Did you know that?
Over 15 times.
Over 15 times.
See,
Wait, really?
Yeah, Lascelles, he mentioned that. He said,
he cried over 15 times. It's crazy.
I mean,
he had a number.
It's weird though. Like after the show, everyone's kind of different. Like we're cool with everyone. And when you're on that TV camera, you don't know how to act. There's no way to prepare for this kind of experience. As much as preparation we did, right, Iris?
Yeah, when we were in quarantine there in Maui for 2 weeks, Luke and I saw that they had Xfinity on demand, and we were like, we got to watch every season and strategize and learn as much as we can. And
That's how you won the $1 million. Yeah.
even doing
Strategized
that,
all the way.
like we thought like, okay, we're good. But when you're actually there, it's a whole different story. Like
Sure. Yeah.
there's a lot of nights where you're up till 3 a.m. partying, then you wake up till 7:45 a.m. and get COVID tested, so you're exhausted, you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you can get dehydrated, you're constantly having to socially interact with others, even if you don't want to. And there's no TV, there's no phone, there's no internet. It's literally like you're working like 18-hour days.
Yeah. And you're under the control of reality TV productions, which is sometimes a frightening thing for people too.
Yeah, there's literally cameras everywhere. Even if there's not a cameraman, there's a camera in every corner of every room.
In your bathroom, they have the swivel cam that can literally just go zoom in on your shower and stuff. But I made sure to wrap myself in a towel. You're not getting this shit for free.
Sure.
There was just a point where I gave up, and I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna be naked in my bathroom, like.
Yeah. So it's all good.
So how did you two meet? Sorry, I don't want to forget about this.
Okay, so it's a funny story actually. We met through my ex-boyfriend. I was dating this guy for 4 years. I know, great, right? I was dating this guy for 4 years, and Luke was also close friends with him. But Luke went to Washington State University, so he was gone for like 4 years in college while I was dating this guy. But my relationship with the guy was pretty toxic. It was kind of abusive, and ultimately it ended. I broke things off. But Luke was always like the homie, and he was friends with this guy, but their friendship also kind of ended around the same time because it was just spiraling down a dark path. Yeah. And right after that, I kind of got Luke a job at my workplace at the time. It was this place called Joey's, and it's like a classy Hooters. And Luke was one of like 2 male workers on the floor. It was all chicks.
Yeah, out of like 40 other girls on the roster. So it was Temptation Island for restaurants, basically. Yes. So I got a lot of practice there. And we just started hanging out as friends. I wasn't trying to like hit on her or anything because I knew that this guy was still my friend. And I had a girl actually cheat on me with one of my good friends back in the day who I broke up with that girl. But that was some emotionally scarring stuff for real. And I had walls up, which also led to me needing to come on this show to kind of learn that emotional openness. But I had quite a few walls in the beginning of our relationship, the jealousy, the Iris going out to different parties and stuff, and me being like, damn, like this is tripping me out. But yeah, that's, we started eating together
We started eating together all the time. And everyone at work was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so cute together. You guys should just date. And we're like, no. But then we had a work party and it got really wild. And then some of the cooks in the back were like, hey, you should go kiss her, man. Yeah. So Luke comes up to me at the bar and he's like, hey, everyone here thinks that I should kiss you. And I was like, well, why don't you? And then he kissed me, and then that's where it all started.
The cooks brought out the chocolate sauce and the whipped cream. They said, Luke, take off your shirt.
There was a lot of lap dances at this party, to be honest.
I'm so happy. At least, the coverage when I first saw everything, I was like, damn. But if they're gonna do me this way, at least we got a bunch of funny sound bites because it's a laugh to look.
Well, I mean, you saw the show before you came on. You had to know that was coming, right? Like,
and it's also funny too because I feel like they didn't really touch on like what our rules were, but
let's talk about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I told Luke like, go have your bachelor party fun. You can get your lap dances. You can do body shots. You can slap some booties. You can dance, like whatever. Just like don't kiss anyone, and don't do anything sexual with anyone. And
what about a forehead kiss or a cheek peck?
That's fine.
Yeah, because I
3 second cheek kiss.
Oh, 3
That's totally fine.
seconds.
Five,
That's a long
5
time.
seconds.
I don't know.
Maybe
5
the
seconds
thing
cheek
is,
kiss.
I also would not know the context of it too. What if like Luke was like emotional about something and like a girl was literally giving him a cheek kiss out of comfort, you know?
That's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
that's the kicker right there, because it's all about how you react to these things. At these bonfire clips, it's all clips out of context, chop,
Sure,
chop, chop.
yeah.
You don't hear combos before or after. And
Yeah.
Iris, I really got to hand it to her for holding it down. Watching me get the chocolate sauce and the lap dances.
Oh
Like
yeah, that was
a lot of other people probably would have tripped out with that.
We did say throughout the season, Iris had very mature responses to a
Thank
lot of things
you.
on the show.
Well, yeah, well, we were just like, we assumed like clearly they just have rules that this is okay. Like, it's just like obviously not a big deal. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Like, it's like-
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
like we had ground rules. It's interesting because at the final dinner before we said bye to each other, I know they didn't really air a lot of that dinner, but I remember Mark
Yeah.
going around to all the couples at the table and being like, "What are your rules? What are your rules?" But he skipped me and Luke, and I was like,
Because he probably didn't want us to
They
be like,
probably
oh,
knew.
we didn't want kissing as a rule, while everyone else was like, oh, we don't have rules, or you can kiss. And then maybe
Yeah.
our decision would have influenced other people's too. So there was kind of like an unspoken rule where we're going to stay in our lane, and whatever relationship you guys are in, that's up to you guys. So as much advice and everything as I maybe wanted to give to people, like they were still off doing their own things. And it was
Mark was mad at you, I think. He was mad.
He was like, Luke, go over there and make some more connections.
Grow. I'm telling you to grow.
Bro.
That was
you
funny.
two said that there was no kissing, and we always talked about how neither of you were tempted, but Iris, you made out with Ashley, so
Yeah.
you
Okay,
broke
yeah.
a rule.
Rules.
You broke
He
the
He
rule.
said I can kiss girls.
I see. Okay.
Oh,
And likewise with him with guys.
was he allowed to kiss
acceptable?
guys?
You know,
What if he had kissed a guy? What if he kissed
he
Tanya?
can.
What if he-
but
I would
just
have
be
loved to
like,
see a
I would
Jardiel Luke
get
kiss
the ick.
Yeah, no, when they showed, there's that bonfire clip where I saw Iris get crowned Mardi Gras queen. She was getting lap dances from Ashley and Ash and making out with them, and I saw that, and it was like, am I supposed to be that mad at that? Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
Now
it's not too bad.
what about
He was like, that's awesome.
was being bench pressed in the rules? Was that in the rules?
Yeah, was she allowed to be bench pressed? Was that in the rule book?
That wasn't a specific rule that we covered, but I felt like it kind of went along with like the lap dances and like.
Okay.
Okay.
What if Luke
So
had
curls
been
were
bench-
okay.
What if
and
Luke?
bench presses?
What if Luke had been bench pressed? We want to make sure this goes both ways. What if Luke was being bench pressed?
First of all,
by
I
one
want
of
to
the
know
women?
what girl in that house is strong enough to bench press Luke. Damn, props to you.
What if Lasalles had bench pressed Luke? Is that okay? I just want to make sure what
Oh,
happened.
totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Hey, they did get me though with that bonfire clip with Iris jumping on Deke, man. I was like, whoa.
Oh, that was hilarious.
But honestly, I knew that Iris and I had those rules where, great, you're just jumping on something, like they're gonna
It's like
try
a
and make
hug.
it look bad. And
Yeah.
it freaked me. It didn't freak me out. And then I told Mark, well, me sitting here for 10 more seconds, now I'm thinking it's more of a threat, and oh my God. And then I like went back, and then I realized, no, like I got to snap back to reality. Iris is extremely loyal, and she's not going to mess up. So
Mark was like, she's a super fan, Luke. She's a super fan of Deke.
Well, okay, you guys, I feel like you can fangirl over someone, but it's not like you want to like sit on their face,
Of course. Yeah.
and they did get her massively faded right before that.
Yeah, no, the producers were in my bathroom with me, and it was just me, and they fed me like several shots. I think like 7 shots. And
Shocker. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, what
and
a
then they're like,
surprise.
"Is Party Iris ready to come out again? You're the party."
This was the
queen."
Bubbles and Bowtie party. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
The infamous Bubbles and Bowtie party. Yeah.
Oh yes. That's where everything went down.
They just pull up the most random ass costume designs for us, like zero thought, like 2 seconds before the
I
night
like
starts.
Bubbles and Bow
That one was
Ties.
kind of cool. Some
That
of our
was Ray
parts-
Rock's idea, he said. So.
Oh,
Genius.
Oh yeah.
really? Okay.
Was it his? That he did throw that party actually? Yeah. That's awesome.
And he was devastated because he was like, this is my party, and I'm hopefully going to go out on my first date with Iris soon. And then stupid Daddy Deke walks in and ruins
Oh.
everything. This was Ray Rock's night, his Bubbles and Bowtie night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
no,
so what happened there with Ray Rock?
Ray Rock was so sweet. He was always in our corner. He was always there for the girls. I was actually like contemplating on taking either him or Tevin on the overnight date. But obviously, like, they had a storyline. Like, I love Deke. He's really cool. He's the homie too. But like, I did think about taking Ray Rock on the overnight date just because I wanted as many guys in the house to get a date. And unfortunately, Ray Rock didn't get one. But I feel like he was always the life of the party.
Why didn't Samantha on the other side, Luke? Why didn't she get that sort of treatment like Deke did of going?
I mean,
on dates
first
for the rest of
off,
their-
no one really,
knew who she
her.
was.
But Iris
Luke,
and I,
you were clearly a Samantha super fan because if Iris was a Deke super fan, you had to be a Samantha super fan.
well, they asked us before the season in a social media interview what cast members from previous seasons
Do you
were like
vibe
your
with-
favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
see.
Iris immediately said, Deke, like, I love his, he's so funny on Instagram and this and that. So then, boom, they bring him out there. For me, I said Brittany or something from season 1. She was the yoga girl or
Okay.
something.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they didn't bring her out. So they brought Sam out because I think, she's Filipina. Iris is Filipino too.
Yeah, she's like half.
I see.
And then, but she came in, they didn't have her, like Deke had the cool bow tie and the no shirt, and Sam came in, and I don't think she was a fan of her outfit either. It was like,
Wow. Yeah.
that
Ray
big,
Rock was regretting that Bubbles and Bowtie idea.
Yeah, I don't know what production like did her like that. Like all the girls like in their toga costumes had like these cute like custom like toga crop tops and skirts and whatnot, and it just looked like a bed sheet. Like she's hot. Like they could have like had her wear something cuter.
Yeah, but I did recognize her from the other seasons, and I think maybe one or two other people in the house did, but everyone else, we were already pretty faded at that point. And
But you were actually gonna take her on a date.
yeah, I wanted to experience the whole point of me taking all these different girls on dates was to learn from them what it takes to be a better boyfriend in their eyes. So when I go back to Iris, because the entire time you even heard Hanya say, Luke, you need to shut the F up about Iris. He said that to me on the steps, so that made air and everything too. So like I was like that heavily in the house and making it as clear as I could, but still being that kind of nice guy who's not confrontational, where things, I wasn't able to just like say, yo, you guys really gotta fucking like.
Well, we thank you for introducing us to characters we didn't know existed.
Why didn't you take her on a date? What happened?
Well, she came in right towards the end anyway, so there were only one or two more dates, and that's where I took Juicy out on that first date. The jet ski date was awesome, like clearing the wake in Maui on these jet skis. I love doing that, and she was really fun on that date. And I said, hey, let's take you out on another date later on, and you can see where I'm at emotionally, like check in one-on-one style at how far I've grown. And so that's why I chose her for the 5th date, which happened to be the skateboard date where they
Where you
showed
fell
me only-
off, yeah.
Yeah, where you fell
You
multiple
fell off
times.
the skateboard.
Yeah.
Where they only showed me falling, even
He's
though
so upset.
it's my one chance to be on national TV, my dream to be a skater on TV, and then they just show me eating it, and I landed every other trick.
And wearing all your safety
Allegedly.
equipment, as you always do.
Tony
And
Hawk
they-
doesn't do that.
Dude, and they made me pad up like to the nines. They wanted me to put on wrist guards too. I'm like, I'm literally like, I can't even move.
They knew you were gonna fall, so they had you pad up.
I'm surprised they didn't wrap you up in bubble wrap
Oh my
when you were
gosh.
skateboarding.
Didn't use that.
So, but yeah. So as far as that went, that's why Juicy went with me on that 5th date, and then the last date, Juicy and Paige both told me at this dinner table, like we're all kind of drinking. They're like, we're in a friendly competition fighting for you right now, and I'm like, well, I just took Juicy on the last date, so.
Well, I think they told you this. You said before the last 2 dates, right?
Yeah, I had made a decision that I was gonna just take both of them, and I told them, "Hey, this is how it's gonna go." But yeah, I was just kind of a little boxed in there, and just said, "Let's
Yeah, he told
whatever."
me his original plan was like to take Sam and Megan on the last 2 dates, and then it just didn't end up working out because he wanted to make everyone happy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was yeah, a little aggressive.
No, it was like a running joke on this podcast that every time Luke would date someone new, we would be like, wait, who is this person? We've never seen this character before. Ever.
Yeah. They really cut these episodes so short that you didn't see all the singles coming out, the singles reveal. So I'm happy I could give some people some extra airtime. But taking Emily on a date was really eye-opening. She did show me a lot of things. Again, they only show you 3% of what really happened on the whole show. But yeah, Emily opened me up.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing over and over that they showed with you, just saying the same things. How did you feel about how redundant that was after a little while?
Man, it was
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
so frustrating and disappointing because there was all these different colorful moments, and then you're literally just gonna play the same story the whole season long. Same with Lasalles and Trace, just doing the same thing back and forth. And it's like there's so many other amazing things that we could show to the audience. And even as far as like our family background and this and that, like so many other people probably could have related to that. And I'm already getting all these comments like, wow, we can relate to you so much, Luke. I'm closed off emotionally. I'm a man. Like, you showed me all this and that. And I'm like, great. Well, you saw like 3% of that, so there's probably way more you could have been inspired by. But
well, let's talk about that family background thing, because I feel like we didn't really get to scratch the surface of that on the show, and it was very vague. They just kept saying, you guys just kept saying family background, family background. What is the story
They
behind that?
cut a lot of our family
yeah,
stuff
Iris
out.
had a whole background thing with her family, but and the whole thing we could talk about in a second too is that moment that I did start opening up emotionally. A lot of these other podcasts were like, when we feel like Luke was just here and now he's like all of a sudden crying. So like, where was that conjunction where he started doing that? But yeah, the family thing is like, I'm living at home right now. Iris and I travel in the winter time. It looks like winter here in Seattle, Washington still right now. It's super sad here, but I'm taking care of kind of the mom side of the family. There's just a lot of mental health there. The brother's been in the psych ward for like 4 years, and I really don't think he deserves to be there. But once you get inundated with that and these pharmaceuticals, like, you just keep getting these injections and you just get worse and worse. Like, it's devastating. And this guy my brother John looked up to me so much. He's younger than me. I'm the oldest in the family. I have a sister too, who's also just going down a little tough road. And then the mom on top of that is like, we have to help her a lot. So
yeah,
it's all
that's
that
very
stuff.
stressful. Yeah, a lot of pressure.
And then still trying to be extremely positive on the other end of that is where I'm at, and just trying to hold and be that glue to the family and stuff. So it's and that's what I was talking about with a lot of these other people in the house. And I think the only times I was like, oh, Iris isn't giving me credits, because I was talking like, here's how easy it is for me to open up. Look, I am opening up. I'm doing it right away. I can talk to you guys about it too. Like, I'm not afraid to say it, because so many other families and things are experiencing that. And it's at the end of the day, not 100% something I can control. So I'm not going to really let it weigh me down and ruin how happy and positive I want to be. But it's something I also strive to work for in my business, to build income and whatever, to get them the right help they need too. So
it would have been nice to have that context in the show.
Like that was a big thing for Luke.
Like we just kept hearing the same thing over and over. It would have been nice to hear something else. So yeah, that's a little bizarre that they didn't,
Yeah, they also like cut out my family upbringing too. I was actually like crying and breaking down about family stuff, but they didn't really show me getting emotional too much on the show. I feel like that was my biggest breakthrough, was about my family and having like a strict Asian household, how that shaped me to be who I am today, which is like more of like a people pleaser, always like wanting
Sure.
to impress my family and impress people and make people happy. So I was kind of disappointed that that didn't get aired, but they do
Yeah.
have storylines. They have a show to produce. They knew what they wanted to do.
They had to get the bench pressing moments in there. They just
I
had to squeeze those
know.
in, you know.
The bench
The
pressing was
amount of
important.
pointless airtime I saw in random ass clips, I was just like, wow, come on. Like this one where Karina and Hanya were just like doing some air dance weird things.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are just making us try and look as stupid as possible.
Yeah. Mhm. At least they got to showcased your skateboarding, Luke. At least they did that, right?
At
So-
least they did give us a skate date, and they would never tell you what these dates were going to be. You'd always
Yeah.
wake up, you'd go out, you'd pop up on location. We drove by like a zip line thing, a driving range. Like I love golf and all that stuff too. I was like, oh, are we going to be doing this? Are we going to be doing this? And then we
Yeah.
pull up randomly to this church with this cool background, and there's like skateboards there, and they wanted me to teach Juicy how to skate. So
Mm.
I did help her out with that, and she did pretty well. We got a lot of
Oh, was
progress,
she? Okay. Yeah.
and they did not show it, and they just wanted to show me eating shit. So.
Well, speaking of these dates, I have to ask about the Beehive date with Iris
What was that?
and Deke
Oh.
because
Where were the bees?
where were the bees? Why
So,
weren't you guys in suits?
It's so funny,
Oh.
you guys. We pull up to the Beehive date, and then we find out that a goat ate the bees in
What?
the hive. Yeah,
So there
We're
were
just like, oh my
there
God.
were going to be bees, but a goat ate them.
A goat ate them. Yeah, it was really weird. We were just like, well,
This is
what's gonna happen
amazing.
now? And so they were like, oh, we're just gonna bartend with some honey. It's gonna be fine. And we're just like in this really pretty gazebo, but literally surrounding it was like manure and horse shit.
What? That's insane.
They're like, we'll blur out the background. It's gonna be fine.
So Deke put on the suit. Did the producers ask him to do that, or was he just like
No.
really wishing that he
That
could
was,
have
like-
been with the bees in that?
That was
moment?
all him. He saw the bee suit. He's like, oh, cool, a bee suit.
He
And
gets
then
Yeah,
into
that's what I would've
character.
said,
We
too.
saw him with the dance party. He had like the twisties in his hair, and
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
he really got into every party. Which
he's really good for reality TV. Like,
I
I understand why he's like a fan favorite and why they brought him back.
would have been so excited to be like, I'm going on a bee date. I can't wait to put on my bee suit, hang out with all these bees, and then you go there and you find out that a
A
goat ate all
goat
the
ate
bees.
it. So did
A
the
goat ate it.
Did the
yeah.
goat die?
yeah. What's up
I
with
was
the
wondering
stinging?
if like this,
Like-
if they stung his throat and if he died. I was like actually genuinely curious.
It's a fierce goat. This is wow. This story is incredible. Wow.
Why didn't they air that? Man, you guys
Yeah.
could have been
That would've been
talking about
great.
how the goat died the entire date. It would have been so interesting.
Oh man, that would have been
Some
awesome.
other things too on these dates. I was like known as the little daredevil on these things. The second
Of
day with
course you
Emily,
were,
when
you
we
skater punk.
Yeah, you punk.
no on the second day with
He's a
Emily,
bad boy.
I'm a bad boy. We did the slingshots, and we were whipping. They just want us to like drive around in a little circle the whole time
Oh,
in like
sure,
a parking lot, basically. And then I was trying to let that thing loose, so I started like burning out, drift around the corner. And the safety lady would always come out and be like, "Hey, stop!" Like on the jet skis, I was going a little too extreme. The second day with the slingshot, the skateboard date, I was trying to go like kickflip some stair sets and stuff. And they were
Yeah.
just like, no. And so
Safety
I
first.
think, the safety lady really just had it out for me when she was trying to get me to go all padded up and
Yeah.
just was like,
Well,
yeah.
there's goats around. They don't want you hurting any goats or running over any. So yeah.
Yeah, it's too costly for production.
And the ring shopping date, literally.
Okay. The date. I want to get into I got to ask how this happened. The way it was portrayed with the date was that Hanya wanted to buy rings, and then you came along with him, and then you were like, "Oh, maybe I should buy a ring and propose to Iris." Was that how it went down?
Well, honestly, so Iris and I had talked with the producers and everyone about getting engaged if we could make it through the show. And I had told Paige, even sitting, I don't even think we were on camera, but I told her like, hey, like thinking about proposing to Iris, and there was like zero context for that being shown. So yeah, it came off even extra like I'm just here to like just randomly propose to Iris. But we had
maybe I'll get one too. Nice.
Yeah, I think Hanya, like I saw on the after show, like he really wanted to do it right away. He already knew it. And he asked Luke to come ring shopping with him, and Luke was already thinking about it, but he didn't want to like steal Hanya's moment away from
Hanya
him.
didn't really know that I was really going to do that. I had talked about it. I was also, you know, a little on the fence because of how crazy the show was. I was like, you know, maybe we meet each other and we do it in a month or so. But then I was like, you know, this has been such a crazy experience that this is the time. And I feel like this is just really the moment to do that because I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I've done this much growing. Like that 1 month there on the island really felt like 6 months of hardcore growth kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It's intense.
And, you know, you don't get any of that at home or anywhere else. And I just felt so in that moment that, you know, when he asked me to go ring shopping and I was there, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. But he had already told me he wanted to go ring shopping. So I didn't want to immediately be like, hey, I'm going to get a ring for Iris too. Because he would have been like, you know, maybe you just stay home because this is my moment.
This is my thing. She's definitely going to say yes. There's nothing that's happened this season to make it seem like I wouldn't say yes, that she wouldn't say yes.
What did you think about him when he told you he was buying a ring?
Again, like he had spoken to Karina, a lot of his deeper conversations of how and why he was going to do that. He spoke with some of the other women in the house. And again, like I'm in my own lane. He wasn't taking too much advice from me. I wasn't giving too much advice, but I wanted him to do his thing. And he was like, I'm going to shoot my shot. If it doesn't work, you know, he had seen all the clips that his girl was doing the whole time. So, you know,
was it discouraged to tell him what you really thought of,
we're
of
told
how
that
she might...
Karina was locked in a room, but you don't have to say what you were told us.
Yeah. Wait, say what? I didn't hear that.
Karina was locked in a room.
Karina was locked in a room so that she couldn't tell Hanya
to not.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, no, this
was Karina. Karina said it
Karina
on our Temptees podcast.
Okay.
So this is all from Karina. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Live.
they did do that to the girls.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried to get Hanya at least to get like a diamond on the ring too.
I know he's from man.
Ash did say she hated that ring. Yeah.
Well, he told me Ash, and I thought he was. I mean, it made kind of some sense because he said Ash.
She's non-binary.
She just wants something a little more hard forged, like more raw material, not something too gaudy, not all this bling bling. And I'm like, all right, like you can do you. I'm gonna get this one here, and that's kind of how that went. He was definitely shocked, so that was a real surprise when I told him that there because. You know, I should have probably mentioned it a little sooner, but, you know, it made for a bigger surprise.
Well, what did you think when Hanya didn't get a message from Ash?
I mean, none of us were really that surprised. You know, he wanted all this extra context. At every bonfire, it was just her hooking up with Taylor the whole time. And he's like, Ash is so vocal, like she speaks so much. She's so good with words. I just want to hear what she's at, how she's feeling.
I feel like,
and he wasn't getting that. And towards the end, you know, he's like, I'm just gonna do this. And if it doesn't work,
when you see that scene though, where he's like, I didn't get a message. It's so funny because Luke is like, what?
What?
Like he's acting really shocked, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Iris, were you expecting a proposal at the final bonfire?
So the thought definitely crossed my mind, but I remember the morning of my final bonfire, they took me to get my nails done, and they didn't take any of the other girls to get their nails done.
Oh.
So I was like, I think he's proposing.
Yeah, Iris had an idea.
And then my dress selection I really wanted to wear this like super sexy kind of see-through dress, and they were like, "No, you have to wear this pink princess option." And I was like, "So
Interesting.
big I'm getting engaged."
Yeah, Iris could read right through that. She knows her stuff. So.
And did they try and dress you up like a prince? Did they want to give you a sword and a little prince's hat?
They got him a new shirt.
Yeah, they got me some new clothes. I had to give. Well, we were running out of clothes at this point, and Hanya asked to wear one of my shirts. He's like, "I love that Western look, man. Like, I want to wear that."
Oh yeah, he had the bolo tie. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and that gray shirt he was wearing with the white little spots on it. He said, "Hey, if Ash says yes, can I keep this shirt, man? Like, this can be my lucky shirt." And I was like, "I love that shirt too, man. But yeah, if she says yes, that's all yours, buddy."
You're like, yeah, if she says yes, you can have it.
Well, I didn't know. Like, she could have. I mean, it was up and down. So who freaking knew what was going to happen at the end of the day, honestly? But yeah, he was gonna keep the shirt. But the next morning, I woke up and my shirt was hanging on my doorknob, man, and I knew it didn't work out. So he gave me my shirt back. Still have it.
Iris, so I'm guessing you and Deke never discussed leaving the island together.
No, we did not. No, it's funny because in interviews too, they'd be like, "What are the odds that you might leave the island with Deke?" And I was like, "There's a 0% chance that I'll be leaving the island with Deke."
But you're a super fan.
They would ask him, and he's like, "I'm pretty sure she's getting back with her boyfriend."
How quickly was Deke resigned to his fate from the moment that he got there, in knowing that yeah, he was going to be the guy that you bring out on dates, but nothing was really going to happen there?
I think he pretty much knew it like the morning after the bubbles and bow tie party, because I was like, "Deke, you know, I actually like thought that you were like coming in here just to party with us for the night when I initially saw you, and like I pounced on you. I thought you were like here to like give us advice on like how the show is and like your time on the island and like what we could do to be our best versions of ourselves. And I didn't realize you were staying the rest of the season." And
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah," he's like, "I am staying, but that's funny." And I think he was just like really happy that he got to come back and have the experience again, but he knew that it was always a homie vibe. And I knew it was always a homie vibe. And like, we were both cool with that.
So how was this reunion? How did this reunion go for you two? How was your experience at this crazy reunion? Because things got pretty wild.
It was like a 9-10 hour ordeal. That was intense. Like, we only got like 2 bathroom breaks, I think.
Jesus.
Whoa. I know. we were all just like holding it in, like sitting and like trying not to get like leg cramps or whatnot. But the reunion, I thought it was okay. I mean, I knew that they were gonna just like try and like bring all the dirt, air the dirty laundry, whatnot. They definitely went hard on Lasalles. I was a little surprised at Ash like going in on Luke, but it was fine at the end of the day.
Yeah, honestly, we're sitting there, and this is after they totally rile you up and they stir you up. They have you number one, you're in quarantine for 5 to 7 days, sitting in a room again together. You can't go breathe any fresh air, and that's how it was before we went on the actual show. For 2 weeks, we had to sit in a box in Maui, basically. And like, you know, Iris and I again have a good chill time together. We can do that, but I can imagine some couples, you know, might be button heads even more.
Yeah.
And then they go, and then they have that whole psychological thing where they show us the girl's house at first. We have that toast with Mark, and then we go to the guy's house after that, after waiting like 2 hours in the car or something. And they show us the magic, the majestic house that we're in, and all the girls were tripping out.
Like way better than
with the great doors. Yeah.
The door.
But so that's kind of how it was at the reunion. They have
door. Wait a minute. Look at the door.
So funny.
I mean, that's how they did it to really stir you up at the reunion. They had us watch all the episodes right before you went out there, and that was 2 days of airing.
Wow.
And we're each both like, well, in all the guys were just like, wow, they're making us look really freaking bad. We thought we were way different than this. But they thought they were going to show like our bond we had, and how I learned from these guys how to open up emotionally, because I finally had men I could like look to that were able to do that. And that was how I was able to open up that way.
Yeah.
Didn't show any of that, so it was super disappointing. And then we actually go to the reunion itself, and some of the producers are like, "Oh, what'd you think of the show?" And we're just all like super disappointed and just like, it kind of sucked. I hated it. But
I feel like I got like a pretty good edit, but like I also was my genuine self.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well,
I
let's talk about like was Lascelles' edit a surprise based on what you knew of his storyline in the home?
So
in the
I
villa.
kind of knew everything because I talked to Tevin a lot. He lives in New York.
Mhm.
Lasalles and like 13 cast members from the whole cast are from New York. And Tevin and I sometimes have like 7-hour phone calls where we're just like telling each other everything, keeping each other in the loop. And I kind of knew about that whole situation. So I wasn't really like super surprised. I didn't know the details though. So like it's not like I fully knew like everything that happened, but I did hear little bits. And when they were going in on him, I was just like, oh my gosh, like he did not see this coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after some of those conversations, we would all have like a water break or something, and he was just sitting with his like head in his hands in his chair and just didn't want to talk or do anything. It was so brutal, man. Like you either had, and if you tried to defend yourself, which is what he did, you cannot do that on these things. Like you have to just impale yourself with a sword.
Well, I just feel bad for Alexa because his trust in her is gone forever. So he'll never be able to.
I'm sure they're like friends again.
Yeah, it was so heated there, but everyone I think is probably kind of chill after the whole thing happened. But it was just
honestly, like I was really happy that the reunion episode was so good because I feel like it kind of like made up for the whole season in a way.
Yeah.
And I think the viewers agree too. They're just like, wow, this is like crazy, so much tea. Yeah, I felt like the reunion episode.
It was a really good reunion episode.
Really
One
of the best.
The 30 minutes of Lascelles were just phenomenal. He was
I feel like
really
it's
good
the best
TV.
reunion episode from all the seasons.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Straight up.
What were you thinking about Lascelles like throughout that whole season? Like,
so
he's just such a.
I know.
He's so nice, you guys.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, I get those vibes from him. He's a nice guy. I really do.
Yeah,
but man, he has just got the worst foot and mouth disease I think I've ever seen of anybody. It's he just gets himself into so much trouble. It's really bad.
Because he was told he wants to do a good job, and the producers are constantly telling you to do a good job, you need to grow. And to grow, you need to build a connection. And to build a connection, you need to lead people on. And it's just, it leads you down a bad road. And you think you're doing the good right thing.
I just want to grow.
Sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah, it's just like so sad.
He was not ready for those producers, was he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, yeah, when you got some nice people that want to think they're doing the right thing, and these producers are telling you stuff, and you gain trust with them, you gain trust for them, and then they're kind of leading you down roads that you're still like having some cognitive dissonance. You're like,
sure,
I want to please this producer, but I also don't want to ruin my life. So yeah, like I don't know.
Well, likewise, Iris, with you and Ashley, what were your thoughts on when you saw at the bonfire all these clips with Lascelles and Trace? How was Ashley, going through all that?
Oh my gosh, like Ashley's the sweetest person ever. She never like talks bad about anyone. She's so kind. And when we were watching these clips, we were honestly all shocked because in the very beginning, when we met the couples, we thought like Lascelles was going to be the one that would like be great and propose at the end.
That's what we thought too.
Yeah, because like 7 years, like that's a long time. It's the longest out of all the relationships. And when we would be like eating together, he'd always ask everyone like, hey, like, do you guys need any silverware, any napkins? Do you want anything else? I'll go grab it. Like, he was so sweet. It's just, I think he really like thought that whole experience was real life for a second.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you really get caught up in there, but
Yeah.
I think Edgar had never been to Hawaii before. Ray Rock, that was his first time on a plane. So
Yeah.
for a lot of people,
Yeah.
this was like, I mean, we live on the West Coast, so we go to Maui and stuff, Kaanapali, Lahaina, all that stuff a lot. And
Yeah.
then, you know, you're in this tropical island, this paradise, and this, I think it was Ice Cube's $25 million villa on the beach back in 2011 or something.
Oh,
I
really?
heard is where
I
we
didn't know
stayed.
that. That's
And
funny.
then,
Yeah.
so that was, you know, mind blowing. But Iris and I had this relationship where we get out, we network, we socialize quite a bit. So we're
and
used to,
we go places without each other too.
yeah.
Mhm.
We do
Yeah.
events without each other, and it's totally fine. I feel like maybe it was harder for some of the couples to not be without each other for so long that they kind of maybe lost a little sight of their relationship.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much
I know
how it
Jillian
is.
and Edgar did handle like long distance though for a bit because they lived in different states after college. So that's a little different, but I mean, there were like codependency issues on the show.
Yeah.
Sure.
Back to the reunion. So, you know, the reunion, Iris, everything was like, Iris is so perfect. But, you know, Luke, you got into a little bit of trouble at the reunion. What was up with this Paige stuff that we were shown? You know, your
Yeah.
alleged relationship with Paige full of steamy sexual tension. What was
Right.
going on
Right.
here? And did this break any rules, Iris? What's going on here?
So no, it didn't break any rules. Like I think I touched on this earlier. Like I told him like go get your lap dances, take body shots, dance with girls, like slap some booties, I don't care. I was really just looking to see if he was like kissing her in the clips. And I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
he
No.
didn't. So what's the
Yeah,
problem?
honestly, like if you really slow down those clips and see what's happening there, like if you can read my body language, and the thing that's just disappointing too is that I did tell her multiple times like, please, you got to stop. And then for a few days, she would not like jump on me or just do that stuff. And then after a while, it would happen again, and just me being that non-confrontational guy. The producers probably telling her to do this stuff more and more. Her, I guess, like actually liking me, even though to my face she's telling me, yeah, we're just friends, we're homies, we're gonna have like you and Iris and we'll all hang out together, blah blah blah. Like I don't know if that really rang true in the end. And then yeah, if you watch my body language, like there's points where I'm like getting headlocked, like that's
Oh my
I'm not
gosh, you
into
guys,
that. And then at
so
the end I'm like, help me. And there's like girls just clawing and throwing on.
yeah.
It's like,
So what Luke like told me after the island, he didn't like say any names, but he was like, yeah, you know, there was just like this one girl who like kept attacking me and headlocking me, and I absolutely hated it. I hate getting headlocked. I just didn't know like how to like confront the situation. I just want to be nice.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be mean.
I didn't
want to
wanna
make everyone happy.
yeah, I didn't want to come off on TV like really Cardi B, just
Yeah.
brutal, like, no.
He didn't want to
Like,
like.
She was giving you wedgies,
Yeah.
shoving you into lockers. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, so it was
Yeah.
just I was stuck in that rock and a hard place situation. In real life, I'm not going to be locked in a house with people and like not have a way out for a month. But when you're there, you know, luckily I did play it the way I did and take many people on different dates and not fully lead someone on when, you know, even though I'm telling him the whole time, I'm learning from you how to be better for Iris. This is what I'm doing for Iris. I want to like be the best man for her. I love her. Like she's amazing. And all I could do was say highly great things about her. And then they cut in like my whole sentence would be a bunch of good things. And then me saying at the end, well, she's bad here and here and here, and she can work on this and this. And that's all they'll show.
Yeah.
And
but like, unfortunately, Luke kind of talks with his foot in his mouth at times, and it comes off way worse than it is. But I do remember in one of those clips, Luke said like, "Oh yeah, Iris was freaking out about me texting this girl in the past," and I think she was like, "Do I look like her?" And Luke was like, "Yeah, kind of." You guys, this girl he was texting was like white with light brown hair. And they do not look anything alike. And I'm just like, oh, Luke,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
not
just
again.
sitting there people pleasing like way too much. So yeah, I should have like been more upfront and sturdy with the ground I was standing on, but I just, I didn't. So I learned from that, and watching it back, I saw, wow, yeah, I really need to not do that at all, and just set more firm boundaries. And that's sometimes a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I get it too. I get that there's kind of this, unfortunately, double standard where like if a guy's creepy to me, I can literally push him off and say like F off. But if a girl's doing that to Luke, he can't really do that. It'll look really bad.
yeah, if a guy's coming on you a girl super hard, it looks a little rapey, like right away. But
Yeah,
when
and
a
then
girl
everyone
does
will have
it,
my back.
it's like when a girl does it,
It's different.
It's yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I knew that coming onto the experience, and I was prepared for it. So like, it really didn't bother me at all.
Let's circle back to the reunion one more time, because I want to ask: are you and Ash cool? Are you two? Is everything Gucci now? Like they said.
They said some things. They
cool.
said some.
But
some
then
words
in our
about
interview
you.
with Ash, they did say that there's no hard feelings, and that they still think positively of you.
Well,
So-
yeah, and there's a lot to say on that, because at the reunion, everyone's flustered, bottled up. Ash even had like a little shoe under her chair that the producers gave her that she was ready to huck at somebody.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that
And
was a thing.
I was like,
And
so
we're just like, oh my god, who's it gonna be?
we all got
What else are
obliterated
the
out
producers
there.
planning under chairs?
Dude, yeah, no, we
Yeah.
got obliterated, and after the fact,
Frightening.
even when I'm sitting in the chair, like at the reunion, Lasalles is up there, and he was, trying to defend himself a little too much, and then
Oh yeah, so we actually went first when we filmed the reunion, but when you see it on TV, we went last.
yeah, but when Lasalles is out there, I was like, dude, you just gotta stop. And then I said something like that, and we were all trying to get him to calm down a little bit. And then Ash was sitting right behind me and was like, hey, Luke, you're already doing better. Good brownie points for you, blah, blah, blah. After the reunion, we go out and party all together. She asks to like follow me or whatever, and we follow each other on Instagram. And I get over, I don't hold grudges. I get over shit real fast. And
That's
yeah,
nice.
and
Yeah.
she said that she told me that Luke literally like came up to her right after the reunion and was like, I literally adore Iris. I want to do everything I can to be the man that she deserves, and I really do like want to marry her. And she thought that was amazing, and so that is why like Luke is one of two males that she follows from the whole cast.
And then
Who's the other?
Tevin's like my best friend from all the single guys.
And then we watched this. Iris and I had a little hometown premiere party for the first episode. It was really fun. Too bad we couldn't share any of that coverage together for 8 months. That was one of the more hard things we had to do. Not post anything together, even though on Reddit you guys may have seen like, are Iris and Luke still together? There's articles out there showing like.
I had a feeling when you were both at Coachella, I was like, I don't know.
I mean,
but then again, who wasn't at Coachella of everyone?
That's what
in
we
reality
thought.
TV,
We're like, everyone
so.
goes to Coachella. But Ultra Miami, Luke and I made a deal. Like, I get to post this because Jillian's here too, and like we're gonna be posting Ultra. And so Luke was like, okay, fine, I won't post to Ultra. But yeah, we were doing music festivals together. Some people were recognizing us. It was kind of hard.
Run away when they recognized you, right? You'd split up in different directions and you'd just sprint. Right?
Well, we were at the bar and some guy right next to us looked at us and said, "Oh, thanks for ruining the end for me."
And then he just like,
that's amazing. I love that.
And no, we were waiting in line in this long line of cars to try and find parking, and a cop literally pulls us over. Roll your window down.
As our girlfriend in the back seat is like chugging alcohol.
Yeah, we thought we were getting screwed. I was driving this rental car, and then he's like, "My wife makes me watch you guys on my only time off."
Sure. His wife makes him watch.
I know.
Yeah.
But then he ended up giving us like presidential service, cleared a whole lane, and like escorted us into parking and was like, "Yeah, you guys are awesome, man."
Yeah,
And
it was so funny.
so
and apparently,
What
when
the
he pulled
fuck?
us over,
Tax dollars at work, right?
when he pulled us over, I saw this other girl across the street, like in a different lane, take a photo of us, and I was like, "Oh gosh, like that was weird." And I guess she sent it to Reality Steve, who told us yesterday that like he got a
Wow.
photo of us like in our car. And I was like, "That was her."
yeah. But I was gonna say we
I'm
went
just
to
mad she
that.
didn't send it to us. Very upset
I
about
know.
that.
I know we want to
You
spoil
guys-
spoilers.
Yeah, I mean the spoilers. He said he doesn't ever try and open those or anything like that. But yeah, no, we went to Miami for the second episode viewing party with Jillian. She had a huge party there. Some
So much fun.
previous cast members from other seasons pulled up. Tons of people were there from our season and everything else. And yeah, that's where Ash and I and Ashley, all the other girls, Jillian, we all went out together. I was the only guy there, and I was out with all the other taken girls at the time, and then we had nice dinners together. And yeah, Ash and I got along super good. So
That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah.
Iris, why was Taylor eliminated? What is the truth?
We want the truth.
give them the truth.
You guys really want the truth?
Oh, we want the
Yeah.
truth.
I mean, I heard from like some of the guys that they kind of thought maybe he wasn't in it for the right reasons, that he wasn't genuine. But like
See.
Taylor and I get along just fine. Like we're cool, we're homies. This is just like what I heard from some of the guys, and they thought that maybe he like didn't really like Ash for real. And so that is why they tried to vote him off. But like again, I didn't have a problem with Taylor. We're homies on the show.
Yeah.
I thought all the other guys that got eliminated, I saw that coming. Taylor was kind of a shocker for me.
Really?
But
Okay.
we were allowed that save, and we saved him for Ash, and she was happy with that.
The guys didn't have any other like beef with him or anything, because it's weird for that many guys to just vote him out. Was it literally just like he didn't have a good enough connection with Ash that they thought was
I think
genuine?
they just thought that it wasn't genuine enough. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't there. I don't know.
In our Ash interview, obviously, Taylor, gave her the fake phone number. But in our interview with Ash, Ash said that he said it was because she's a witch. he thought she was an actual.
Well, they did
have
cover-
like the sage date, and I remember when we got back to the house, that really freaked him out. And I remember even George, they didn't air it, but George was just like, "Oh yeah, I had this ex-girlfriend who did that, and like she cast a spell on me," and like it freaked Taylor out.
George said that.
Yeah, George said that when Ash and Taylor came back, they were telling like all of us about their sage date, and we were all just like sitting on the couch listening. And George like put his 2 cents in and was like, "Yeah, my ex-girlfriend, she did."
Was it his ex-girlfriend or somebody else's ex-girlfriend?
You never know, right? You never know with George. But he was like,
Oh god.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
you
was-
never know.
he was like, "Yeah, she cast a spell on me, and like it was like a bad luck spell." And like Taylor was just like, he had these wide eyes, and like he was just like talking like this for a long time, and we could tell he was like freaked out. So I mean, that could be part of it too. I don't really know, but yeah, it's unfortunate that she got a fake number.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone deserves a fake number.
Oh no, yeah, totally disrespectful. But yeah. Yep. We were just wondering if there was more to it with Taylor, because
We're gonna get to the bottom of this. There is a real reason. You're all hiding it. We're gonna figure it out.
I feel like I just dished more than
Well,
I
no,
should.
yeah. Honestly, it was because at the reunion they did cut this part out where it was that palm reading too. I think.
Ash told us about that.
Yeah, they told us about the palm
Yeah,
reading.
where she said he was gonna die within a year.
Yeah,
they said
he was gonna die in like a
In
car
a
wreck
car
or some
crash.
shit.
Yeah.
They, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And
He
yeah.
was super freaked out about that too.
So I mean that's probably enough grounds to be like, yeah, I'm out of here kind of.
But I feel like you should just tell the person, like, I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he handled it, like a lot of people did on the show, like we could have handled things better, but you're
People don't
caught
like
in this moment,
Confrontation.
and
So
yeah.
Sure.
So Iris, what did happen with George? Was everything that we saw reality with George? So were there?
So George was always like very, very nice to me in the beginning. Like he was always trying to be there for me. I just felt like there were like little red flags here and there. There was this like vanilla incident in the kitchen where he was
we
making,
heard about the vanilla incident. Yeah.
You did?
Mhm. Yeah.
he was making like the French toast and he used a whole bottle of vanilla and it was
It
Ash.
created chaos on the whole
Ash is
island.
still very
Yeah.
upset about this.
I know, yeah. And he never apologized. That was what was a huge red flag to me because I came up to him, I was like, hey, I think Ash is really upset right now. Like, that's my girl.
They specifically requested the vanilla for something, right? Ash.
Yeah, she's gonna bake some really good pies because she loves to cook as well.
Mhm.
And like when I approached him and asked him, like, hey, do you think you could like talk to her and apologize? He was like, oh yeah, I got you. And like I remember like 3 hours later I came up to Ash. I was like, so did George like apologize to you? And she's like, no.
Yeah,
and I
they
was
did mention that.
I was like, did he talk to you? And she's like, he just gave me like a shoulder nudge and he's like, they're gonna get you more vanilla, don't worry about it. And I was just like, wow, like that's not the George that I know.
Yeah. Mhm.
But like it sucks, but I felt like the red flags were enough for me to be like, yeah, this can't really continue. I mean, I also really wanted to work on myself more than anything.
Yeah.
I felt like that was like the biggest thing that I could do for myself on the show is to not just like hop from one relationship to another. And
so you weren't ready to marry him. He wasn't husband material.
When I heard that after the first bonfire or whatever, I was like, or no, it was the second bonfire. The first bonfire, I was like, oh, this can be easy. I was just telling the blonde Andrew guy that got it. Like, I guess Jillian said he was the Walmart version of me. I don't think that made air, but
that's hilarious.
I think someone said that you two were cousins too.
oh my God.
Lacell said that you two could be cousins, I think.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, the second bonfire we saw Iris say, yeah, George is really showing me emotional sides that Luke doesn't.
So I
He's
said
so
he embodies a lot of qualities that I want in a future husband. I didn't say he was husband material.
Okay.
Iris, you also said that you had teenage fever for George.
No, George said that. George said that for Iris.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Did he ever talk to the medical team about this? Did you guys ever get checked for this
Fevers are really dangerous.
I mean, COVID was going around at the time, pretty big, so he maybe should have checked. Yeah.
So you didn't have teenage fever back for him. I just wanted to check. Okay.
No.
She just liked his cooking. Like that's literally on the dates.
He was also like really sweet in the beginning.
But she literally.
Okay, so
this is controversial because Ash said that they did not like George's cooking. Deke's cooking was apparently the best in the house. That's what Ash said.
Deke and Ash were the best cooks in the house, that's for sure.
But before Deke was there,
but I remember like the first night, George did cook like a really good meal, and we were all impressed. But then like I remember there was a breakfast where the potatoes were like super hard, and like Mikey, Ash, all of us were just like, what is this? Like he said he had a master's in culinary arts.
He only memorized one family recipe, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, there was so there were just a few red flags with that, and then I mean I saw Iris going on different.
Also, you
dates,
cannot get a master's in culinary arts. It's culinary science.
Right.
Yeah,
yes, Ash
told us
that.
this.
That's
Were
so
you
funny.
talking sports with him too?
Yeah, I was talking like sports with him. Like he said,
because he's an NFL analyst.
Or he said he played in the NFL, but like they're just things that weren't adding up. Like I watch my sports.
Didn't he say to look him up or something?
Yeah. And there's nothing.
Yeah, it was interesting when he left, when he was eliminated, he was like, "Oh, this really bums me out because I want to spend more time with Iris," but we hadn't seen him in like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So it was
Oh my
very
God. No, like that was like also a lie, because that same day in the house, he heard that I wanted to ask like Tevin or like Ray Rock on the last date or something, but like they were pushing for me to ask Deke, and like Deke knew that too. He was like, "Oh yeah, I get it. You probably just like don't want it to look bad to your boyfriend." And I was like, "Thank you," but
Yeah.
George was like rude to me. He is like, "You've been running through the whole house, like saying like she's for the
jeez.
streets." Like just saying rude things to me when I literally hadn't done anything with anyone like at all.
Yeah.
And even the guys were like turned off by it. Like they were like, "Why are you talking to her like that? She hasn't done anything with anyone. Like
Yeah.
they're all friend dates." But yeah, he was kind of rude to me about that. He's like, "Yeah, she just wants to like date everyone in the house." And I didn't take that very well. And so when he said that in his confessional that like he wanted to spend more time with me, it was a surprise because I don't think he really meant that. But after the show, like we're cool. We
that's good.
exchanged some platonic DMs on Instagram. He said like he's my biggest fan. Like we're supportive of each other.
That's
and like,
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like we're super cool.
That's good. Always nice to hear that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Max?
Favorite advice from Mark. I want to hear from both of you. Favorite advice from Mark, because as we know,
bonfires are super powerful.
Honestly,
that's one of our favorite.
It helped me a lot with some issues. He helped me realize like my whole family problem that I had with my strict Asian parents. Because I was thinking that my trauma had stemmed from past relationships in regards to always like wanting to please people and make people happy and not standing up for myself or knowing what I deserve. And he's like, "You know, Iris, I think that this stemmed far before you even had relationships." And I was like, wow. I was like, it's like you know me. It's like you were there.
He is all knowing. Yes.
Yeah, and they didn't really air that. But when he said that, I was like, you know, he's right. It is like my upbringing. It's my family. Like my parents are amazing. They've always been super loving to me. They always had my best interest at heart. It's just culturally things were very different because I grew up in a strict Asian household. Sure. And so there was not a lot of understanding on their side. And when I thought about what Mark said, I was like, yeah, that is totally accurate. I've always wanted to people please because of my parents.
If you don't say your truth, you don't get it.
Yeah. And he told me like how to overcome that too, ways that I could like learn to really love myself and stand up for myself more. And Mark was just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the whole loving yourself thing, I always thought I do that like too much. But at the reunion, you even heard him tell me, like, I think you just don't love yourself enough, man. And it kind of takes someone like that to really tell you those things, to actually look deeper and see, because in the grand scheme of things, you know, as far as my business goes, I told you my money's like, I kind of save it. I only invest it. I'm just trying to build more and more to help kind of the family. And that's my why. And these reasons to break out of the mainstream and just, you know, go change other people's lives and my own at the same time, and ours, and build a family and all these other things. But, you know, I don't necessarily, as much as I think I love myself, I don't really give myself as much time and care as I need. Self-care. Like,
sure.
I just, and he always acted as that mirror for me to go tell him what I'm going through, what I'm feeling. And then he would just tell me right back, almost just kind of exactly what I needed to hear every time. And he just said he's a mirror there for us. And beyond that, it was just kind of he told us a lot, like, you guys are just dancing around. You got to like really just get in and dig deep and make things happen. And for me, it was just the loving myself a little bit more, you know, spending a little bit more money on myself, all this all these gains and things I'm doing, I don't really go celebrate with Iris and myself as much as I want to and think I need to.
That was also like an issue on the show that I felt like wasn't fully portrayed accurately. So I feel like they made it sound like Luke always like doesn't pay for me at like fast food dates or whatever. But like
value meals
only,
only,
Whopper Juniors, splitting
Whopper Juniors, small fries only.
Hey, when you eat out 30 times a week, I'm
not
not
30 times a
well
week.
like
I love food.
like 20 like guys, if you follow us longer, you'll see all the times we go eat out, and I do spend a lot. Like we just and by the way, the whole me letting Iris go to Vegas thing, where Ash at that point started saying she hated me, like that was just a way I worded it. But Iris did just go to Vegas, and it was a conversation. You know, we need to have conversations before you go to Vegas. So.
Yeah, I feel like when you're in a committed relationship, like you should discuss with your partner, like, hey, I'm going to be partying up in Vegas, just letting you know.
And you know,
you don't just fly to a city without telling somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she did that, and she wanted me to come out and meet her. She's having her birthday here on June 30th. I got her a ton of nice pre-birthday presents. I flew out there for her. She wanted that to be part of her present. And just, you know, all the dinners we had out there, like no one really sees what really happens. And it's hard to judge someone's life when you aren't in our group.
Of course.
Prior to going on the show, Luke and I kind of had this like agreement that he'll take me on like one like really nice fine dining date like every week, like $200 to $300. And then I can just like get all my like Chipotle meals, you know? And I was like, I like that.
That's why I don't go buy all the fast food stuff.
I'm not dependent on Luke for money. Like I've never borrowed money from him. I don't ask him like to always pay for things for me. I've never been financially dependent on him in any way. So I was like, yeah, like I can pay for like my cheap meals as long as like I get my really cute like fine dining date like every week. And I felt like that was like a reasonable term that we came to.
Well, and you know what? The longer you're in a relationship too, the more that stuff isn't even gonna pop into your mind. None of that stuff is even gonna really matter as much the longer it goes. You know, when you get married, you know, it's different.
If that's the biggest, if that's one of the biggest problems we had, then, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So what do you have a date picked out for the wedding? Is there a date yet?
So there's not a specific date yet, but we do want it to be in Santorini, and we want the weather to be comfortable.
Okay. Yes, we are available. We are available.
Yeah.
We talked about this, guys. We
actually did talk about inviting you guys.
Yes. And Mark, I assume, is officiating.
Yeah, we really want him to, because we heard he's going to officiate Kristen and Julian's wedding.
Oh no, that would be really cute if you got him. That's really
I know.
Fun.
Or Ray Rock.
Yes.
Oh, no one better.
Who could hype the wedding more than Ray Rock?
Yeah, no, like I've actually talked to Ray Rock about this.
That is awesome.
Cheers to a good time. Let's get it.
I mean, he was even in the chat. Look at this. My people, heart emoji, wedding here we come.
Yes.
We love you. Man, yeah, it was a crazy time, but yeah, we want to have a lot of fun, you know, events and parties leading up to that where we can get around and see all our friends and stuff like that. But the wedding itself will probably be pretty small and exclusive.
Yeah.
Like it's
just us.
Just the four of us. Four of us.
Just the four of us.
Just the four of us. And Ray Rock.
That's it.
VIP.
It'd be really special. Yeah.
We were actually thinking of having like a huge engagement party here in the US with just like as many people as we want.
That's
like
fun.
all of the cast, everybody, people from productions, even like you guys. We think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
But yeah, this is going to be like still a couple. We said possibly 2 years out, because number one, time flies. Number two, we need to build a little bit more foundational things. Number three, like my dad's and mom are both split up, so my dad's going to be possibly selling the house, moving to Vegas. My mom, like, there's just so many other
A lot of
things
things going on right now
that we
Yeah.
have to do first. And I saw we got some backlash, like, oh, if they're not going to get married right away, then what it's not
Then
gonna
did they
happen.
really win Temptation Island?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like 2 years is kind of like normal for a lot of couples to stay engaged for, because I feel like
Yeah.
being engaged is one of the best parts, because
Yeah.
you get to just like flaunt that you're engaged.
Yeah, we want to enjoy that. And 2 years goes by extremely fast. People
It's
don't realize that.
Live
Mhm.
your life. Who
Mhm.
cares what other people think about?
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
The whole splitting of the bills thing too. Like whatever. Who cares? Like
We really,
Yeah.
I really,
Yeah,
after,
Luke just
yeah.
like bought me a really pretty Gucci bag, so like he's not as stingy
Yeah.
as what people think.
Yeah.
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 Well,
But-
congratulations again. You truly were the winners of Temptation Island.
Thank you.
I'm very excited for you two to get married. This is very cool. And we loved having you guys on the pod
Yes.
today.
Thank
You're both
you.
so nice and charming. What can I say? It's been it's really cool that you guys have listened to our podcast this year. So we
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we love you guys. You guys were very spot on with all your facts, and compared to any other podcast, we thought that you guys were the most accurate.
That's
We
what
love
we
to
pride
hear it.
ourselves on, our accuracy.
Yes.
I
And
have
our
a
sound
question
bites.
for you
And our
guys.
sound bites. Yeah.
How are we like here in this video compared to like what you saw in the show? Like, are we like pretty much the same people?
I think
Or-
pretty similar. Yeah.
Very similar.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Who
Luke
was-
is a little toned down. I mean, we're not getting a lot of, like,
My balls are out.
his balls are very in right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
My
it was
balls are
definitely-
out.
He put on for the cameras a little bit, but it was very entertaining.
And I was told that,
Iris is the party queen.
and we're not getting, you're not party, Iris, you're pretty
Yeah.
put together,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
I've calmed down a
maybe
little
if we had
bit.
done the podcast at night, things would be a lot more wild. I
Yeah.
think that's what's
Yeah.
going on. But we are getting the daytime versions of you very accurately right now.
Perfect.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
for
Hey,
sure.
if we do another pod,
It'll be at night. We'll be doing shots. We'll
Yeah.
do a power.
Yes.
We'll do a power hour podcast. That's
Let's
what we'll
do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Actually, we should do that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys cover a lot of shows, like 3-4 other shows, or how many? Like,
I don't know.
Well, we just did The Circle. We're doing 90 Day Fiance. What else have we just done recently? We did another one. I
we
can't
did
even remember.
Survivor.
We did Survivor. Yeah.
And we got some new
doing a
ones
lot.
coming up, which we'll be announcing soon. So
nice, dude, I'm looking forward to season 5, Temptation Island. Your guys' coverage, and
Yeah.
just. I honestly
Yeah.
kind of feel bad for anyone doing that show because they will really come for you. And
Yeah.
you gotta be
Well,
bullshit
we'd
now.
love to have you both on with us next season to help recap an episode. So
Yeah, we
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
before we sign off, would you two like to plug anything or yourselves or anything?
yeah, your socials.
Oh yeah. Follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is at Iris_Jardiel.
Yeah,
Cool.
mine is Luke _ super long last name that you won't get. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys even want to drop the handles under the video in case people want to reach out to our socials. You can always just tag us Luke _ Wechselberger there.
Okay.
Um,
We
Cool.
can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can
and
put that in
yeah,
the description. Mhm.
quite a few people were asking like, what is this business Luke does?
Yes, let's hear about that.
It's kind of, I've been doing it 5 years. I graduated college, got that little job where I worked with Iris at the restaurant, broke my legs skateboarding, where I laid in bed for 2 months, couldn't be a server in that classy Hooters, and actually learned how to make money online because I'm like, hey, if I get hurt anywhere, how can I just make money from my phone? There's got to be a way to do that. Bought someone's course, how to sell on Amazon. So basically, if you've heard of the website Alibaba.com, anything here in the US is probably made in China. Everything says made in China. So you actually find suppliers, manufacturers, and you can get your private label brand or logo on a product there for 5 times less than what it costs here in the US. And you set up your Amazon account, and there's a tool that shows you how many sales a month certain products are making on Amazon, how competitive they are. So you find a good niche to get into. Then you simply source that product from the supplier, make a better bundle, beat out whatever listings these other competitors are doing, even if they have more reviews than you can make a better bundle, make a no-brainer offer kind of thing, and then you ship the product from the supplier right into the Amazon warehouse, so you don't have to touch anything. And then you rank the product up to the first page on Amazon for that big keyword that everyone's searching. And then customers buy it, Amazon ships it, and that's how it's kind of considered that passive income. But there is work.
Interesting.
And I've put out over 500 videos on YouTube teaching people how to do it, talking about the journey. And then I have since made a course with about 500 students in it as well.
Cool.
And a lot of people have become even way more successful than me. Some have bought like a giant yacht and said, hey man, this is thanks to you. Whenever you want to come out here, you can. And we saw that guy last night when we were out, actually, Darian.
That was cool.
And I taught my dad how to do it, and he's a full-time chiropractor. And
he taught me how to do it.
I taught Iris how to do it. She
Nice,
ranked a
nice.
TikTok party kit to page 1 and was just
Number 1 on page 1.
within
very
like
nice.
within a week. And then she started 0 reviews, 1 crappy image. But because we made her an awesome bundle and set her up with the launch strategy, she just started making a ton of sales. And set my dad up with that too. Even when he had a full-time job, you can devote like an hour a day. You just need to like know what you're doing, and that's why
Cool.
I offer that course.
Yeah,
And it
it's-
really does help people.
It's so nice because customers get it right away with the 2-day Prime shipping. They don't have to wait like 2 weeks from like a Shopify store or whatnot. So that's what's great about Amazon. They have all the traffic. They're the number 1 online retail platform in the world. So you will just be seeing random people buying your product instantly.
Yeah, and there's like a $15 a month tool that gives you all that sales data. You can type in anything you want on Amazon, and you just press this Chrome extension, and it pulls up all the sales, the revenue for each of the listings, and you know all the numbers, the profit you'll be making before you buy anything. So, and then you just start with a little test order anyway, 100, 200 units. My first product only cost me $500. It was 100 units of a $5 product that included shipping into Amazon, and then I sold it for $20. And I was like, wow, this actually works. Random people are buying, and I can just look at my phone and there's sales happening. So
I see. Okay.
It was
And what's the YouTube channel? What's the name for that?
YouTube channel is literally just how it is here on our call here, Luke W. That's
Okay,
it.
Yeah.
Luke W. All right, and you can find that too on your socials, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, if
Yep.
you follow the Instagram, I have the link on the profile, and it'll have the YouTube, the course, book a call with me, all these other things. So
Cool.
Very
Well,
cool.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Be sure to check us out too. We teach
Yeah.
everyone about other valuable things like reality television, which is a very worthy investment on what not to do.
Yes. yes.
Oh, by the way, I feel like people haven't really seen the ring yet, so I want like you guys. to
Yes,
do it
please
first.
do. Wow. That
Ooh.
is beautiful.
Now, is this the ring that you got on Temptation Island? Because I read on Twitter that you got a new ring.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the ring that we had on the show, it had like a little inclusion in it, which looks like a crack.
Oh.
Well,
And-
honestly, I picked a ring out in
You
the
picked a ring.
store.
They
It
didn't
was
use
a
it.
nice ring. They said, we're going to take this ring, Luke, and we're going to polish it up for you and give it to you the night of the proposal. And I said, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. So the night of the proposal, they give me the ring, and it's completely not the ring at all. It has a huge,
What?
nasty band on it with like
It was a
scratches
really big
on it.
band. Like honestly,
I was like, is this a stage prop? And they wanted us to literally leave with that and not complain about it. And
but, like, we inspected it. The band
That's
had some like
bizarre.
scratches on it, and like there was like a tiny inclusion.
there was a crack
And
through the diamond. And
so
I was like, dude.
Luke and I asked,
Why did they do
like,
that?
can
That's
we
weird.
please, like get another ring that I can pick out myself. And so they agreed, and then I went to a jewelry store in Maui. They treated us so nicely. They had this ring, and I was so happy with that. I was like, that's the one. That's the one that
That's
I
very
want.
pretty.
We had to do
Very
this
nice
on our
ring.
own, though.
Yeah.
We
No,
had to,
but the show still covered it.
yeah, but we
Oh,
had
the show
Oh,
still
that's
paid
nice.
for it.
That's
Nice.
right because
Hell
I had to
yes.
go into the store. This ring was really expensive. We negotiated the heck out of the guy. Was like, hey, we're like on this TV show. We're gonna plug your store. We're gonna help you out, whatever. we got a huge discount on it. And then the producer, the director actually like said, hey, I'm not normally allowed to do this, but here's the info for the card, the credit card and stuff. And we went and got the ring on our own accord.
Nice.
Yeah.
And made it right, because after that engagement night, we went home. Iris got to spend the night in
his villa.
in my villa,
Oh,
and
cool.
the cameras
Okay.
weren't on, so it was awesome.
But then we were like, wait, I was like, I don't know if this is the ring I want. I don't want to sound like ungrateful.
And I was
But
so
like,
upset,
but
man.
like, look at the little like discrepancies on it.
I was so mad. The ring I was like, dude, this thing is whack.
But like, it was still a good sized diamond. It was like a 1.7
Yeah.
carat. It's just, it wasn't the style I wanted, and it had little like
Yeah,
scratches.
this
on
one
it.
looks so great
This
on
one's,
her
like,
hand.
very
Fits her finger
dainty
perfectly.
and pretty.
All's well that ends well, you know?
Yeah. So everyone here saw the ring here first. I feel like on Instagram, pictures are a little blurry, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Sweet.
great. Yeah, thanks for showing us that.
Yes.
Very cool. And folks, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/reality alert. We're covering all sorts of fun stuff. The show we just recently covered, Iris and Luke, is called Love Never Lies. And it is kind of like Temptation Island. It's Spanish. It's like Temptation Island, but also like X on the Beach. Are You the One? They get lie detector tests every day on the show, and the secrets are revealed every
Oh my
single
God, that's
episode.
intense. I want to watch
It's
that.
wild, and there's a terrible English dub over it too that we love to make fun
Yeah.
of. So that was our most recent episode on our Patreon. So if you want to check that out, folks, bare minimum to get the weekly content is $5. So check that out at patreon.com/reality alert.
Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/reality alert. Subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram.com, reality alert podcast, and follow us on Twitter, reality alert _. You should do all of those things because I'm saying so.
Yes.
Anyway, once
Exactly.
again, Luke and Iris, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so
And,
much. Appreciate your time,
having
guys.
us.
We'll
Yep.
see everyone real soon. Bye.
Yes. And we'll see you at the wedding.
Yes, we'll see you at the wedding.
It's the place you go when you finish your show. We're your two best friends. Our names are Max and Ben. We're self-proclaimed television experts. It's reality alert.
I'm tripping balls right